What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews. And on today's show, well, we're about a half day removed now from the Lions defeating the Chiefs last night 21-20. So we're going to go into some overreactions on people kind of knee-jerk reactions, probably the best way to put it, on what people around Chiefs Kingdom, what reporters are saying about last night's game, and maybe some things that really don't deserve to be talked about, but are being talked about right now. So just a quick overview of the game. Lions again defeated the Chiefs 21-20. The game-winning touchdown was scored by David Montgomery with about 5 minutes left to go in the game. Patrick Mahomes played well, not well enough to win the game, obviously, but 7 of the points for the Lions came off a pick six. That was a pass tipped off the hands of Kadarius Toney into the hands of Brian Branch, the Lions defender who took it 50 yards back the other way for the touchdown. So let's kind of just dive into this. But before we get to the overreactions, I need your help, and the Chiefs need your help. Because if you like the video, it's guaranteed the Chiefs are going to be more likely to bounce back next week against the Jaguars. Because you like the video, the Chiefs feel that. They're getting that energy, they're getting that serotonin boost. So like the video and help the Chiefs bounce back next week against the Jaguars. Make sure you're hitting that like button. All right, let's get into some overreactions. The first one, I think the main one that everybody's talking about, is a Mike Evans trade to the Kansas City Chiefs. And after the wide receiver debacle, we'll call it, last night, I don't really mind it. And the stats, they speak for themselves. Mike Evans is a top-tier wide receiver, probably top 10 in the NFL. And if you put him in the hands with Patrick Mahomes, well, that just makes him even better. Last year, having Tom Brady, pretty good numbers. 6 touchdowns is a little bit lower than I think most people would expect to see on a guy like Mike Evans, a bigger body. And I talked about the wide receiver debacle. Let's take a dive into the depth chart. And obviously the one is Kadarius Toney. I say one in air quotes, though, because there's not really a true one on this Chiefs squad. Marquez Valdes-Scantling had the most yards last night and was only on 2 catches. Sky Moore had a very abysmal game, to put it in a kind of abrupt terms. Had 3 targets, 0 receptions, a couple drops. Rashee Rice actually scored a touchdown. He looked okay, but he also had a drop. This wide receiver room, there's just obviously not a clear one. And so with the trade, what would that look like? Well, here's kind of a proposed trade that I've heard kind of floating around. Now, the Chiefs will receive Mike Evans, as mentioned, and the Buccaneers would get a 2024 third-round pick, along with Richie James being sent to the Buccaneers. It's a kind of a situation right now with the Buccaneers handling. Basically, Mike Evans has given them a deadline, saying, hey, September 9th, which is, by the way, tomorrow, that's when he's going to stop talking to the Bucs and focus on next year. He's done talking contract sessions. So I don't know about you, but the trade seems pretty likely at this point for the Buccaneers, because if they don't get a deal done, they know he's leaving. They know he's gone, so may as well go get something for him. So this could be one that I could see happening. At this point, I think the most likely option is not that Mike Evans signs a contract extension, but more or less that he is going to get traded to somewhere else. That could be the Chiefs. I mean, they showed last night a wide receiver one could really help out this team. But I want to hear from you, because it's a sketchy topic. I mean, there's still some cap space issues. There's a lot of things going on. So before I give you my take, I want to know, should the Chiefs trade for Mike Evans? I want you to be Brett Veach today. I want you to tell me in the comments, type T for trade if you think that you would trade for Mike Evans, if you would do that trade that I just showed, or type P for pass if you're thinking, no, it's just one game. We're going to be all right. I don't want to take on that money. I don't want to take on that worry of having to pay Mike Evans next year, when obviously the whole Chris Jones situation right now. So again, type T for trade, type P for pass, get in the comments, and let me know your thoughts. My thoughts on this are, Evans is not a bad idea after last night. After what I saw from this wide receiver room, I don't trust them at all. Now, do I think they all have the skill and ability to get better and really grow throughout the season, especially with Mahomes as their quarterback? 100%. I think last night was not indicative of this wide receiver room we're going to see for the rest of the season. But if you add Mike Evans to this team, that means you would get Mike Evans back. You're going to get Mike Evans. You're going to get Travis Kelce back. This team becomes more than elite on the offensive side. And we'll get into the defense in just a moment. But again, I don't think it's that bad of an idea, especially that trade's not bad. I like Richie. is a good return man, but if you're trading basically him for Mike Evans and a third-round pick, you're feeling pretty good. All right, let's go to my second overreaction, or your second overreaction, Chiefs Kingdom. Second overreaction. This is one that's been swirling around a lot of Chiefs forums, comments, Twitter, all over the place. People saying that we should cut Kadarius Toney. I don't know about that. He did not have a good game last night, though. That flat out, no one's gonna back away from that. 1 reception for 1 yard is abysmal. Yeah, talk about the 3 drops, including one of them that literally cost the Chiefs 7 points on the pick six. And then another one that probably would have gotten the Chiefs into field goal range. You're talking a 10-point swing right there. Take 7 points off the board for the Lions, give 3 to the Chiefs. That's a 23 to 13 victory, 14 victory right there. Bang. That's how it could go if you just make 2 catches. I saw a funny tweet where if you just slap the ball out of your hands every time Kadarius Toney saw the ball, the Chiefs win the game. But let's hold the brakes on that. Let's not do that just yet because, yes, Toney had a bad game. He did. But might I add, he was a big reason the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. He had a really amazing punt return, and obviously not the punt returner this year, but it's one bad game. He also missed the majority of the preseason activities at training camp, all that stuff. He missed a good portion of it with that knee injury. So this was his first real live game action, getting in here, being able to kind of see the field, and it was all kind of run and go. He was shut up on the field, and it was time to play. He just had to go. So I think we got to hold the brakes on it. He's got one of the best coaches in the entire NFL to kind of coach him through this, and he's got a quarterback that believes in him, as Patrick Mahomes mentioned last night. He's just going to keep throwing it. He hopes the drops will get fixed, and he believes in Kadarius Toney, and I do too. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. All right, before we get to my third, or maybe your third, overreaction, I need your help because the Chiefs Kingdom here, they were skyrocketing last night. Last night's watch party, we gained over 1,100 subs. 1,100 subs. That's insane. And now we are only 106 subscribers away from 45,000. Let's try and hit that today. Let's do it. I know Chiefs Kingdom's got my back. I know Chiefs Kingdom loves the Chiefs Report. Just hit that little subscribe button. It's free. And if you're in the market for Chiefs content that's informative, entertaining, and you just want to have a good time, well, join the Chiefs Report family here, and we'd be happy to have you. 106 more. I think we can get today. Help us out and hit that red subscribe button below. All right, my third overreaction is that Jones makes the defense incredible. Last night, I'm not going to lie, I was thoroughly impressed with what the defense put out on the field. Now, was it the best defense? No, not a chance. But was it way better than I expected? Oh, by miles. The replacement for Chris Jones, Michael Dana, that dude was amazing. 6 tackles and a sack in the backfield the entire night. And then you had the second-year guy, Trent McDuffie, who literally was all over the field the entire night. I feel like every time there was a big play or something, a big defensive stop, McDuffie was around that area. And there was only one play he really got burned on. I say burned. He more or less, it was a cut route from Amon-Ra St. Brown where it was a cut and he just couldn't get to him in time. That was the only play that I thought that McDuffie maybe could have done a little bit better on. But at the same time, it's one play. He did really well. Besides that, he was the leading tackler with 8 tackles. And then another guy, we had kind of alluded to this all week in the Chiefs Report if you've been watching, but George Karlaftis looked amazing. He looked like that guy in the last 7 games last year. 7 tackles, 1 pass breakup. Guy was in the backfield the entire night, putting pressure, always in the face of Jared Goff. He looked really good. This defensive line was really, really impressive. I liked what I saw, and I didn't really think too much. Oh, Chris Jones not here. This is obviously a way worse defense than him. I didn't really think that. I got to be honest. I didn't really think that. So, do we need him? Do we? Let me know, because I would like to have Chris Jones. He makes the defense better. He would make this defense absolutely incredible. But I want to hear from you. Do the Kansas City Chiefs need Chris Jones? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Y for yes if you think that Chris Jones is needed for the Chiefs to succeed this season, or N for no if you think, after last night, we don't need him. We're good. We're good. Here's my take. Is Jones not needed? I don't think he's necessarily needed for the Chiefs to succeed. But he would make this defense, and this may be a hot take, take it, whatever. I think he makes this defense a top 10 defense in the entire NFL. Now they're number 10, but they're top 10. They're definitely, I mean, you put him on there on that line, and you have Michael Dana, who looked as good as he did last night. George Karlaftis, who was, I mean, that guy's looking for a sophomore skyrocket of a season. And then on top of which, I had second-year Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, who missed a couple tackles last night, but was always around the football. This guy, you get Chris Jones back, this defense could be really, really, really good. All right, let's go to my fourth overreaction here, and that's that Matt Nagy should not call offensive plays. I saw a lot of people kind of immediately blaming Matt Nagy, saying the offensive play calling was bad. It was not the way it should have been. In particular, the one call that everybody was not happy with was that kind of gadget play on 3rd and 1 where it was Blake Bell under center, and then he handed it off to Rashee Rice. Why are you not putting a 3rd and 1 opportunity into the hands of your MVP caliber quarterback? I don't know. But if you look at the offense last night, it really wasn't all that bad. 316 yards, that's a pretty average game for the Chiefs. I say average. Obviously, you'd like to be above average. Passing was neither here nor there. It was good, not great. Drops, if they're fixed, that yardage probably is up to 300. You're talking total offense around the 400 area. Rushing, I would have liked to see a little better rushing from them. I was interested that we didn't see a lot of Jerick McKinnon. That was kind of a surprise to me. We saw a little bit more of CEH, to be honest, than Jerick McKinnon. Pacheco will get going. He's got to take some time. He had a cramp in the middle of the game, which doesn't help out, so it's just going to take time. And then the one interception, that was just on Kadarius Toney. It's Kadarius Toney. And in all honesty, if you're putting up those numbers, it's week 1. It's week 1. Your biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2, and you're putting up those numbers. You score 20 points. You look decent. I'm not going to say it was good, but it wasn't like it was abysmal. They looked fine. I think the gadget play was the one call that I'm like, I don't really know about that. That was a little confusing. But this team, they know what they're doing. They've got a good offense, and it's just week 1. There's no reason to worry. I trust Matt Nagy. He has been with the Chiefs organization a couple times. He knows what he's doing. All right, my fifth and final overreaction that I have heard around Chiefs Kingdom is that the Chiefs have the worst wide receiver room in the NFL. Now, let's go back. We showed it earlier. Let's take a look at that wide receiver depth chart. Kadarius Toney is the wide receiver 1. Again, air quotes. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who had the most yards last night, as wide receiver 2. Sky Moore, wide receiver 3, and Rashee Rice as wide receiver 4, although Rashee was probably wide receiver 3 last night in terms of targets and all of that, and he had the touchdown. I think this is kind of dumb. They don't have the worst wide receiver room. I think it's more or less that they just have depth. It's depth. It's not going to win you a game. It's just depth. So overall, it's not the worst wide receiver in the NFL. It's not that way. So let's go to the bottom line. Overall, it's week 1. It's week 1, and that's it. It's just going to take time. There's no reason to overreact. There's no reason to kind of jump into oh no, we're going to lose. Like, no. We play in the AFC West. You're going to beat the Raiders. The Broncos, unless something really, really huge happens, you're going to beat them. You're going to beat the Chargers for the most part. You're good. I still think the AFC West is the Chiefs. That's not going away. There's no reason to freak out. It's game 1. It's week 1. Things are going to get better. Kelsey wasn't there. At the end of the day, you lost to a Lions team who finished the season 8-2 last year without your two of your top 3 players, Chris Jones and Travis Kelsey. You're guaranteed to get Kelsey back in the near future, and I would think Chris Jones will probably be back hopefully before week 5 as well. All right, before we go today, I want to give a quick shout out to Ace Demigod 13. He was our Super Chat MVP last night on the watch party. And I just want to give a big round of applause to Ace Demigod. And if you weren't there at the watch party last night, what are you doing? We're having watch parties every single game this season. Come join the party. We're having a good time. We're throwing around, just kind of having fun while the Chiefs are playing. And what better way to watch a Chiefs game than to watch it with the Chiefs Report? Again, if you're not subscribed already, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. And we will see you tomorrow for more Chiefs news and updates. Peace.